Hey friends, hello everyone. It's Anton with you and you're on the Blackroom channel. In this video, I'll tell you and show you what has changed in our demo room and showroom over the past 5 months. Let's go. The first thing I want to talk about is, of course, the entrance to our new showroom. This is the portal that actually frames this entrance. In the previous episodes, I told you about our idea of how we want to design the entrance, and now finally it has been implemented. By the way, if you haven't watched the previous episodes about the tour of how we built the showroom, so take a look at the door. Of course, it's the acoustic door. It's our standard door, but in a very unusual design. We definitely had some fun with the design and decided to create something unusual. This is a slatted portal. All of this is made at the carpentry workshop. This is MDF painted in enamel, the portal that frames the entrance to the demo room. The door is thick as usual. The panel is 130 millimeters thick, but the handle is unusual. And the way it closes is also unusual, because you just can't fit a regular handle here. Such a large, massive oak handle made us use not a regular latch, but an electric latch. Look, I'm closing the door. And the door is secured. That's it, it fits perfectly all around. To open it, I just press the button located on the inside of the handle, apply a little pressure, and we can enter the demo room again. We developed the design of this door, you could say, as a whole team. Personally, I put my hand into this, and we adjusted the proportions of the slats, their quantity, the milling, its size and width, with millimeter precision so that everything looks harmonious. I hope you can see in the frame that it really looks very sleek and beautiful. Besides everything else, the handle has a nice decorative backlight. It's LED, RGB, and it shines on this milling. The effect it creates, the atmosphere that this backlight generates, you can see on the screen as it changes color. And the coolest part is that all of this can be controlled from your phone. I almost forgot about the sign and the logo. When you come up the stairs from the entrance to our office, you immediately see this logo, which hints that we have a demo room and showrooms here. All of this can be controlled from your phone. With the press of a button, I can just turn it off or turn it on. Now let's take a look at the door from the inside, at its inner part. Here are those 130 millimeters of thickness. It weighs, as you can imagine, a lot. About 120 kilograms. On this side, we already have a curved surface. As we typically do with any acoustic door when it faces the hall, to avoid creating unnecessary parallel surfaces, we break the geometry, and in this elegant way. With 3 panels, we achieve a sort of cylindrical acoustic diffuser. Here we have a regular handle that opens our lock when we want to exit the hall, so safety is fully ensured. The door has a standard construction inside with an acoustic core and special soundproofing materials. Now we've also added Dean barrier material to it, so it has 2 ceiling contours. Here we have a door with a standard threshold. It's about 25 millimeters high, but we usually account for some of that height with the floor in the cinema hall. However, it provides a perfect fit because it essentially follows the contour. It seals the entire acoustic door in 2 places with a good, very tight German seal all around, thus ensuring maximum sound insulation. As I promised, we left a little window on the extension on that side of the door, through which you can see the entire soundproofing layer that makes up our demo room. Well, visually, from that side, the door looks as inconspicuous as possible. It is also painted with black matte enamel, has very simple extensions and plain trim, so that it blends in as much as possible with the interior of our cinema hall. And it worked out for her. But this isn't the only acoustic door we have installed in the demo room. Let's go in there now, and I'll show you what else has changed. The second acoustic door in our demo room leads to the server room, or the technical room, as it would be more accurately called. The door is of course acoustic, but not as severe as the one at the entrance because there is no such need here. It already has 1 abutment and is only 60 mm thick, but the filling is the same. It's made of special soundproofing materials with a 3-layer Dean barrier panel inside. And yet, despite being only 60 millimeters thick, It completely blocks out all the sound coming from the amplifiers or any other equipment in the server room that makes noise when the door is open. You can hear it right away, but right now everything is turned off, so it's not too noticeable. Overall, the noise is quite strong, but as soon as you close the door, that noise completely disappears. Well, we couldn't leave the door acoustically untreated, so here we have two sound-absorbing panels that tackle the first reflections from the back wall, from the left and right, and especially from the center channel. They specifically get absorbed here so they don't reach our ears and ruin the sound. That's all about the doors. Now let's move on to the subwoofers. These two 18-inch subwoofers from Alcon's Audio used to just sit on the floor, as you remember. Now they are very well secured to the back wall, raised off the floor so that we can have decorative backlighting underneath them. This is the main reason actually, and they are secured to the back walls through special vibration isolators. So all the sound energy goes directly into the room. We performed similar operations on the screen wall as well. Now you see a photograph. There, the subwoofers are also secured as rigidly as possible using special vibration isolation devices, buffalo wall designs. All this gave an increase energy and density of the bass and saved us from otherworldly overtones that can arise when you have such huge subwoofers not very well secured in their places. In the last series of tours, you saw that we still had unfinished RGB lighting that encircled the demo room. Now all of this is implemented and of course connected to the Lutron smart home system and controlled both from a phone and from a regular Pico switch from Lutron, which is just this small. You can carry it with you, hang it up, or stick it on the wall. I can just press one button. One light goes out, another one comes on, and it dims just the way we want it. And besides that, all the lighting is of course made with RGB strips, so we can choose the color of its glow in any way we want. And we've decoupled the floor from the ceiling, from the cove lighting. Each of them can live on its own and create the desired mood with a specific color. Friends, give a like if you enjoy this kind of RGB lighting in your home theater or cinema. Well, to make all of this easy to control, we obviously need special controllers and power supplies, and they occupy a significant amount of space in our huge rack, which is located right in the server room. We'll go into our technical server projection room a bit later, but right now I want to talk about perhaps the jewel of our showroom, which is the new model of recliner chairs. Well, friends, let me introduce you to the third model of recliner chairs from Blackroom. Right now, I'm sitting in the prime spot for watching and listening, the most important central place in our demo room. We came up with these chairs quite a while ago, and their main feature is that they are the perfect model for spatial three-dimensional sound. As you can see, there's no backrest behind me, no headrest, just nothing at all. And this is exactly what allows you to hear all the spatial sound created by a total of 15 speakers and 4 subwoofers in this demo room. So it is the perfect one, but if you've been sitting for a while and feel a bit tired and you want to change your body position, then first of all, you can definitely add some support for your head. Raise the headrest. Just adjust this little cushion that is here, and it is not attached to anything. It moves freely. And of course to spread out and make a very comfortable support for your feet. This is of course very convenient, but I understand how uncomfortable it is for you to look at me now. So let's return to the original position and continue enjoying the movie and listening to the three-dimensional sound perfectly. This model is actually more suited for those who love sofas because when folded, it resembles a regular sofa more. However, it has all the necessary features that people love in recliner chairs. It's the ability to transform and get comfortable. Of course, the finish is premium. The highest quality materials have been used in the finishing. Here we have natural Alcantara. The entire central part, the seat, the cushion, and the headrest are made of Alcantara. The armrests are made of natural leather. And of course, everything is done in black simply because this is Blackroom. Each armrest has its own cup holders. You can comfortably place your drinks here. The inserts there can be taken out and changed. They can be leather, Alcantara, or in general, anything you like. The most important thing is that these kinds of chairs, recliners, let you spend the whole day in front of the screen watching movies or series. For 5 months, another chair model was here alone, so we added more seating. These sofas were designed for this space and finally fit. We also have other chair models, 3 of which are in our client area. Currently, 1 chair and another model are in the Coperto Cinema Hall to be presented soon. So friends, if you want comfortable, high-quality furniture with a great warranty and quick service, Blackroom furniture is for you. Right now, there's 1 chair and another model that we placed in the Coperto Cinema Hall, which will also be presented there soon. So friends, if you're looking for comfortable, cool, high-quality furniture made from awesome materials with an amazing warranty and quick response to service requests, then Blackroom furniture is just for you. Feel free to message me. You'll find all the contact details in the description. Well, of course, we will shoot a separate video about our chairs, about how we make recliner chairs. We'll talk about all the models, their differences, and the details. So make sure to subscribe to the Blackroom channel so you don't miss this video. Well, let's move on. The new feature of our demo room is the optical diffuser around the screen. So what is it? It's a specialized structure made up of a set of angled panels, you could say, elongated panels or flat slats. These are wrapped in velvet, which is a highly effective light-absorbing material. And this design, we have it made in the shape of the letter P. It frames the entire screen. Well, it's not on the floor, but its role on the floor is played by the black carpet. 6 slats at 45 degrees absorb light, reducing glare and enhancing contrast. Previously, even black walls caused distractions. Now the image is clearer. A similar diffuser was crucial in Caper cinema due to its close ceiling. It reflects off the screen and usually hits the ceiling and walls, and even if the wall is black, which is how it used to be. When we didn't have this diffuser and all our walls were painted completely black, they still reflected some light and caused glare, which can distract you from watching a movie. I won't even mention light-colored walls, especially when your projection screen is placed too close to them. This thing absorbs all those initial reflections of light that would have previously glared in your eyes, effectively sinking the screen into the image, increasing the contrast and allowing you to immerse yourself in what's happening on the screen even more. But those are just general statements. The effect was colossal. Besides eliminating those initial glare reflections, you can now see on the screen how our projection image used to look and how those glares were actually visible and how it looks now that this optical diffuser has taken its place. By the way, we made exactly the same one in the Caper cinema. The only difference was that we found a spot for it only on the ceiling there. But it was critically important because the ceiling was very close to the screen while the walls weren't.
Anton, could you please tell me if it's important for the number of rings to be 6 and if the material is only velvet?
The material should be as light absorbing as possible. There are special paints, but they are very expensive, which absorb even better than velvet, but that's a much more complicated story. Velvet is available. You can easily go buy it at almost any auto parts store and create a structure similar to this one. 6 slats aren't a must. What's important is to make as many as the space in front of the screen allows, while also ensuring you don't interfere with the acoustic panels that should start further back. Generally, about 50 centimeters from the screen is quite enough to achieve a very strong effect.
And you also mentioned the 45-degree angle, the tilt. Is this also important to consider?
It's important to have the angle so that the velvet absorbs at an angle. That way it just works more effectively. You can simply make a portal like this or simply cover the walls with velvet. This will also be much better than just painting a black wall, but when you have a set of such complex elements and they are all tilted at a strong angle, then the absorption of light is simply more efficient. If we talk more about the effect, besides the fact that the screen really seems to sink into the wall, we've started to notice that our top projector, the GVC and X9, now seems to be lacking in black color. Before the black color was perfect, now it's clear that it's still a bit less than perfect. So the effect is colossal, and everyone who can afford to do something like this has the opportunity and the space for it. I certainly recommend implementing this. To sum it up, this design can be called a continuation of the velvet frame. The screen simply takes it and expands it, significantly enhancing its functionality. Well, forget about the optical diffuser. It's better if you come over and see for yourself how it affects the image. We're located in Moscow, not far from the 3 train station square and the Krasnoselskaya metro station. You can find all the contact details as usual in the description of each of our videos. Now let's move to the equipment room and I'll tell you what has changed in our electronics. Here we are, friends, in the heart of our showroom in the technical room. Behind me you can see the rack. You've seen it before, but it was a bit less filled than it is today. I'll talk about it a bit later. Behind me you can see the rack. You've seen it before, but it was a bit less filled than it is today. I'll talk about it a bit later. The first and most important thing that I believe has changed is that we organized the proper power supply, which has drastically affected the sound quality. Not far from the shield, there is a symmetrical isolating transformer, which gives us the purest possible sine wave, completely disconnected from the city power grid. All the food we now feed to this stand comes from it. It has an average capacity of about 10 kilowatts, and actually it can handle peaks of up to 30, but the thing is we don't have such peaks here. We've measured and tested this and we talked about it in the last video, so if you haven't seen it, I'll leave a link to it in the description. Go check it out, where we broke everything down. So right now, we have a transformer powering this rack and the 10 kilowatt power supply that I also mentioned and promised we would test. It literally just arrived a day ago, we connected it, and we haven't even had the chance to properly test it yet. We'll be making separate videos about power supply, what affects sound, and the power supply with double conversion and transformer, or just a powerful transformer. So friends, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Now there's a small feature of this transformer. It doesn't just convert 220 volts to 220 volts, it's three-phase. It takes three phases, meaning we have 380 volts coming into the office, and from that it makes 220. So there's a version of the transformer that simply converts 220 to 220 with the same power. But the 380 to 220 scheme allows us to always have a consistently stable voltage, because at the output we get an average from the three phases. Even if one phase drops, let's say to 200 volts or even 180, we'll still have around 220 volts at the output, because the other two phases will compensate for the loss on the third. We'll also test this transformer properly, plus or minus 220 volts, because the other two phases will compensate for the losses on the third. We'll also properly test this transformer. This is a fairly new development, and in the future, of course, we will offer it to our clients as a basic, really cool solution to elevate the sound of the audio system they purchase. The cost of the transformer will probably start at around 1 million rubles for the 220 to 220 version. This kind of power will cover about 95% of all the average home theaters we build, because you simply don't need more power than that. To deliver this clean power to your devices, to your expensive Alcon streamers and other brands and equipment, you definitely need to use not just any ordinary cable, but a high quality thick power cable made with quality copper, with very good connectors, and ideally well-made distribution bars. The power supply can be standalone or rack-mounted, and you should also connect these devices not with the standard cables that come with them, but with higher quality ones that have thicker conductors, shielding, and so on. So here, we're stepping a bit into the audiophile zone. I don't want to get too carried away, but all these things do have an impact, but only after you've done the first and most important thing: set up clean power. Playing around with different cables is the last thing you should focus on. First, you need to provide the rack with a solid power supply. So friends, if you happen to have a setup like this, whether it's a Trenov, Datasat or Storm Audio, and you're not happy with the sound quality, don't just blame the calibrator who set up your system, although he's probably at fault too, but you can improve the sound quality with the right power supply, although he is most likely also to blame. But you can improve the sound quality with the right power supply. So if you're in that situation, reach out to Blackroom. We know how to help you. What else have we added here? Let's just walk through the rack. So among the sources, the NVIDIA Shield has appeared. They talked about it in a separate video. A karaoke system has appeared. By the way, we haven't talked about it separately. That's also a great topic for a new video. Leave a plus in the comments if you want a more detailed story about the karaoke machine from AST. This is the top version, the top device with the highest sound quality. And you know, the last thing I noticed that changed in this thing with the latest firmware, it started outputting sound via HDMI directly to the processor. This didn't happen before, you always had to use analog outputs. But nevertheless, we do use the analog outputs, and we send them to the digital mixer, the Soundcraft, which is 16-channel. It allows us to work with the sound from the karaoke system, first of all, to get the backing tracks and the microphone sound as accurate as possible, to set various limiters and compressors on the microphone, and of course to adjust the EQ so that the karaoke comes from our two front speakers. We only use those because there's really no need to mix subwoofers with them, and so on. This setup is sufficient. So friends, if you want to sing some awesome karaoke that's as close as possible to the best karaoke club, just come over and see for yourself how we've set it up. We connect the karaoke system to it, we connect two radio microphones from Sennheiser, the microphone base is a bit lower down, and we sing with great pleasure. And for those who prefer not to sing but to play, we now have a PlayStation 5. So you can load up your favorite game and see how it looks and sounds on the huge screen with amazing surround sound. Well, for those who like to play rather than sing, we now have PlayStation 5, so you can load up your favorite game and see how it looks and sounds on the huge screen with amazing surround sound. So, when we've already watched our demo videos with the client, listened to concerts, enjoyed some music, and checked out the equipment in the server room, we just take our project, which is 125 pages long. Yeah, it's already 125 pages and probably weighs about 3 kilograms. And we move to the client area. Let's go, I'll show you. At Blackroom, we are always open to creative and talented people who want to enjoy their work and build real home theaters together with us. If you're that kind of person, then write to us and send your resume to this email address. And that's all from me. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. And we will definitely see each other in new interesting videos. This was Anton on the Blackroom channel. Goodbye, everyone.